The F Sixth Avenue Local is a rapid transit service in the B division of the New York City subway. Its route bullet is colored bright orange since it uses the IND Sixth Avenue Line in Manhattan. The F operates at all times between 179th Street in Jamaica, Queens and Stillwell Avenue in Coney Island, Brooklyn via Queens Boulevard in Queens, 63rd Street and 6th Avenue in Manhattan, and Culver in Brooklyn, serving all stops except for an express section in Queens between Forest Hills Euro 71st Avenue and 21st Street Euro Queensbridge. Some rush-hour trains short-turn at Kings Highway due to capacity issues at Stillwell Avenue. History: F service officially began on December 15, 1940, operating between Parsons Boulevard and Church Avenue via the Queens Boulevard, 6th Avenue, and Culver lines. It ran express in Queens and local in Manhattan and Brooklyn. During World War II, by January 10, 1944, trains were extended to 169th Street during evenings, late nights, and Sunday mornings. Temporarily in 1948, as shown in a map from that year, the D and F service switched, with the F going to 2nd Avenue, but this was afterwards changed back. On December 10, 1950, trains were extended to 179th Street on evenings, nights, and Sunday mornings. On May 13, 1951, all trains outside of rush hour extended to 179th Street using the local tracks beyond Parsons Boulevard. On December 18, 1951, all trains started to terminate at 179th Street at all times, using the express tracks between Parsons Boulevard and 179th Street during rush hours. Then, on October 30, 1954, the connection between the IND Culver Line and BMT Culver Line was completed, with the IND taking over the elevated section. Rush hour F service terminated at Broadway Euro Lafayette Street to allow D service to enter Brooklyn via the Rutgers Street Tunnel. In addition, all except weekday daytime trains were rerouted via the local tracks between Continental Avenue and Parsons Boulevard. On April 29, 1956, trains were extended to 2nd Avenue. Beginning on October 6, 1957, trains terminated at 34th Street Euro Herald Square evenings, nights and weekends. On November 10, 1958, F service was cut back from 2nd Avenue and started terminating at Broadway Euro Lafayette Street weekdays. Then, beginning on July 11, 1967, trains no longer ran express between 179th Street and 71st Euro Continental Avenue's weekday midday, and were extended weekdays daytime from Broadway, Lafayette Street back to 2nd Avenue. When, on November 26, 1967, the Tristey Street connection was completed, D service was rerouted via this connection, over the north side of the Manhattan Bridge, and via the BMT Brighton Line in Brooklyn. F service replaced it on the IND Culver Line. Beginning on August 19, 1968, rush hour express service between J Street Euro Borough Hall and Kings Highway was added, in both directions between J Street, Borough Hall and Church Avenue, and in rush direction only by alternate trains between Church Avenue and Kings Highway. Beginning on June 16, 1969, express service was modified with Kings Highway trains operating as locals along the entire route Bergen Street to Kings Highway. Express service was further modified December 31, 1972, when all trains began making local stops between Bergen Street and Church Avenue in the rush direction because of complaints. At the same time, all trains were rerouted via the express tracks between Continental Avenue and Parsons Boulevard in Queens. Brooklyn express service was again revised January 19, 1976, when Kings Highway trains were made express Bergen Street to Church Avenue rush hours in the non-rush direction. August 30, 1976, express service between Bergen Street and Church Avenue was completely discontinued, with all trains making all stops. Rush direction alternate train express service between Ditmars Avenue and Kings Highway was retained. This was due to budget cuts and complaints about reduced Manhattan service by riders at local stations. Starting on August 28, 1977, F was made a local in Queens between Continental Avenue and Queens Plaza, late nights, replacing GG. On May 24, 1987, N&R services swapped terminals in Queens. As part of the reroute plan, F service terminated at 57th Street/6th Avenue during late nights. September 30, 1990, R service was extended from Continental Avenue to 179th Street during rush hours, replacing E service. On October 25, 1992, R rush hour service was cut back from 179th Street to Continental Avenue, and F was made local 179th Street to Continental Avenue all hours. On August 31, 1997, late-night F service was again rerouted to 179th Street as a local with service on the 63rd Street line being replaced by a Q shuttle. In December 2000, the F service began to be rerouted via the new 63rd Street connector during nights and weekends. A couple of rush-hour specials were soon after scheduled to run through the connector to relieve the 53rd St. Tunnel. On December 16, 2001, the 63rd Street connector officially opened, connecting the IND 63rd Street line with the IND Queens Boulevard line. In a controversial move, the local V service replaced the Express F service in the heavily trafficked 53rd Street tunnel between Manhattan and Queens, while F service was rerouted to the 63rd Street tunnel at all times. F service also began making express stops in Queens between 71st Avenue and 21st Street to Queensbridge at all times. On September 8, 2002, Stillwell Avenue was closed for reconstruction. F service was cut back to Avenue X, and service to Stillwell Avenue was replaced by a shuttle bus. Rush hour express service on Ditmars Avenue and Kings Highway was officially discontinued, though it had been operated at best sporadically for some time. F service returned to Stillwell Avenue on May 23, 2004, upon completion of the construction work. Proposed Brooklyn Express service There has been community support for resuming express service along the northern portion of the Culver line. The MTA has announced that the elevated Culver Viaduct undergone extensive renovations from 2009 to 2012, after which there will be no impediment to implementing the F Express. Mayor Michael Bloomberg and Senator Daniel Squadron were also among the advocates for the implemented express service. The F Express service along the Culver line was under consideration for 4 years due to controversy from residents living along the line, who feared that they would no longer have a one-seat ride into Manhattan. Although the service was not implemented, some politicians drafted a letter in 2014 that petitioned for the express service. In late October 2015, city officials highly considered the implementation of F Express service. Route Service pattern The F uses the following lines with the same service pattern at all times. Stations For a more detailed station listing, see the articles on the lines listed above. References. External links, MTA NYC Transit F 6th Avenue Local, F Subway Timetable, effective June 14, 2015. New York Metropolitan Transportation Authority. Retrieved September 13, 2015.